Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome back to the sunny side, where ASMR meets the emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping, tapping, tap, tap, tap. For today's video, I wanted to dive into vocab, more specifically emotional vocabulary, stating how we feel. Now, if you are new to EFT or tapping, let me tell you that it is a wonderful technique that enables you to process different difficult emotions, memories, or other kinds of stimuli that stress you. And it does so by tapping on different meridian points of your body, while in the very first phase stating how you feel, stating what stresses you. And then, as one normally continues, later in one tapping sequence, it often occurs that we do a little upwards shift and we focus on the more positive emotions, on what we would like to feel, what we are ready to feel. So I mentioned this in other videos as well, but an average adult only has very limited vocabulary when it comes to emotions. I think I don't have the specific numbers, but there must be more than, there are thousands of different words to express our emotional state. But the average adult probably only knows around, I think it was 10-ish. And I wanted to use today's video to just dive into these very commonly known emotions and then look underneath the surface what emotions may lie underneath these very superficial ones. Because often we might think that we feel, for example, mad, but then when we really listen and look into ourselves, we realize that underneath this anger there may be hurt or fear. And yeah, so let's just dive in. I'm gonna clip this mic right here. I hope this works. I have made a small list with different words. Now, me being a non-native English speaker, this is also sort of a vocabulary training in general, but actually I'm very well acquainted with most of these. So, let's get right started with the very first one. We're first gonna focus on emotions that are rather negatively connoted because they bring along often a negative energy, and then later we're gonna focus on the ones that are more positively connoted. Well, okay. So the first one is feeling angry. As I just mentioned, anger is often a very superficial emotion. It gives us a sense of control when we actually feel vulnerable. So it protects, in a certain sense, more tender feelings. And if you realize that you feel angry, you might actually feel hurt, or powerless. I'm actually gonna take the mic off to play around with it a little bit more. Let's make this a little ASMR style. Powerless. Powerless. Maybe you feel afraid. Afraid. Rejected. You may feel rejected. Or betrayed. So the next very common emotion is feeling frustration. And this often emerges when something important feels blocked. So maybe you actually feel stuck. Instead of feeling frustrated, you might feel stuck. Or helpless. That is a very, very often occurring underlying emotion. Feeling helpless. You might feel unheard. Like you're not being seen, like you're not feeling heard. Or even disrespected. Okay, moving on. Maybe you find yourself sometimes feeling annoyed. Or irritable. And this might be a signal that your emotional or energetic boundaries are being crossed. So underneath this emotion of being annoyed or irritable might lie the feeling of feeling disrespected. We actually had this. Let's go in with another one. Feeling misunderstood. Misunderstood. Or even overwhelmed. 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 Alright. The next commonly known emotion is feeling numb. I think especially nowadays, many people feel safer to face that they might feel numb. Now, this is a very well-established defense mechanism of your body. The body may be protecting you from emotional overload, from pain, from something that you're not feeling or you haven't felt ready to fully feel yet. And very often it is accompanied by a feeling of complete overwhelmingness, of feeling overwhelmed, unsafe, unsafe. If you are feeling numb, you might actually feel unsafe. And even again helpless. And you might probably feel emotionally shut down. Okay, now here comes one of our favorites. Feeling anxious. I think we all know this feeling. Feeling anxious. And this often masks very deep fears. For example, of failures, of not being good enough, of losing connection. And it definitely points to emotional uncertainty. So when we feel anxious, we might feel insecure, unprepared. We might feel unprepared, or even afraid of rejection. Afraid of rejection. Afraid of rejection. Alright, let's go in for one last negatively connoted one. We're going in with a very common one, also, especially when it comes to whatever kind of relationships. Feeling jealous. Now, jealousy is often about perceived disconnection from love, from attention, or even from value, self-worth. So when we feel jealous, underneath this jealousy often lies feeling unworthy, and that is okay. Unworthy, feeling excluded, feeling excluded, or even, and it is absolutely okay if you might resonate with this, feeling unlovable. Feeling unlovable. It's okay. That's okay. We all have these feelings from time to time. Feeling unlovable. So let's turn things around. All of this is just for me to give you a little impulse and show you that our emotional vocab can be great. And by doing EFT, you will automatically augment your emotional vocabulary. You don't have to do this beforehand. You don't have to sit down and first study vocab lists. You will automatically find words to describe how you feel. And if you don't, just stick to the very basic ones. That's okay too. So, at the end of a tapping sequence, we often turn to more positive and empowering emotions. We create space for what we want to focus on, for feeling whole. And I will just read some. For example, we could feel calm, calm. We could feel lighter after having focused so much on that heavy emotion, heavy stress. We might, and accepting it, we might feel lighter. Maybe we feel like we can breathe again. Feeling like we can breathe again. More peaceful, more at ease. A wonderful feeling. Maybe we feel grounded, 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 grounded. feeling resilient, resilient, feeling centered, feeling emotional. I'm sorry, that was wrong. Feeling capable. We might even feel curious. I'm sorry if I do not pronounce these accordingly to your dialect or accent. I have a very, very mixed accent, as you might have already realized. So you might feel curious. Or even inspired, maybe creative, and maybe grateful. Feeling grateful is one of the most powerful feelings, I feel like. It really allows you to appreciate. That does not mean that you have to deny yourself the negatively connoted emotions. But I'm certain that there are always things that you can be grateful for. And it is always worth it to spend some time every then and again just really focusing on this feeling, without pushing other feelings aside, maybe heavy feelings, negatively connoted ones. It's okay. It is okay to feel those. It is okay. Okay, and now my last and favorite category. Words and vocabulary to describe self-love and wholeness. And I truly believe that this is what it's all about. Living is just one way of loving, and you are loved. 100% sure. And I'm very sure that all people in the world want you to love yourself the way they love you, which is a lot. And which is exactly what you want for everybody else. Sounds so generic, but it's so true. So you might feel or be open to feel compassionate towards yourself and towards others. You might feel more connected to your heart, more connected, more to yourself, connected to your emotions. You might tell yourself that you feel and you are worthy, worthy, worthy. You are worthy, worthy of being loved, worthy of loving yourself. Maybe you can be proud of yourself. Proud. And you can. You are perfect the way you are. And you can be proud of that. Of just being yourself. Be proud. And ultimately, that's all about feeling safe being the way we are. Feeling safe being the way we are. Feeling safe, safe, safe. So this was my little vocabulary / trigger word session. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm very grateful that you are watching. I am happy if you like it. Feel free to leave a comment. And I hope to see you